It's about 53 degrees here in Georgia Zone 8A. Getting ready to put my sweet potato slips in this morning. It's gonna be about 80 degrees. Got a slight overcast, so it's gonna be a beautiful day. I can't think of nothing better than to be planting sweet potato slips. Now here I have my Murasakis, and I planted these in one of the little Dollar Tree buckets just to get them acclimated outdoors. And as you can see, they've taken very well. These are Murasaki also, and I'm gonna plant them one for every 12 inches all around the octagon bed. Now in the center here I have two Beauregards, but I really like the look more so than anything of the Murasakis. The Beauregards pretty much look like regular potatoes, but they do have that sweet taste after they've cured. But the Murasakis are beautiful red skinned potatoes, and they get on average about 12 inches long. So what I've already done is amended my soil, and you can see here mixed in is a lot of my alfalfa pellets. And again, that alfalfa pellets, that's a 2-1-2 ratio on your NPK. And I basically just take it, put it in my hand, rub them around, and let them fall as they may. Now also what I'm gonna be doing is putting in some blood meal and some bone meal. And I'm gonna be planting that into the hole of my sweet potato slips. Now as you can see, my neighbors are out. It looks like they had similar plans this morning. So we're gonna try to get as much done as we possibly can in planting our sweet potato slips. All of these have been out for at least 2 weeks now. And you can see they've acclimated very well to being outside. And I got them in this same potting medium that they're gonna be going directly into, so they should take right into this. Right here is probably about 6 or 7 slips. But I'm only gonna need 2 more to go in here, and then I'll probably give the rest of these away to friends or family. Basically a glove length in the corners of my octagon bed to kind of gauge where I want those sweet potatoes to land. And we'll move this out the way real quick. And that's gonna give me that. And we'll have those set up in the middle. Here, and that's going to give us about 12 inches or so in every direction. And this is going to be a pretty full bed, but that's what I want. I want sweet potatoes everywhere. We can get some sweet potatoes in here. And you'll notice here I have sand on the bottom. That's one of my little tricks that I'd use to let those roots continue to grow. You put the sand in the bottom of your cup, and you put your hose on the side of the cup, and those roots will dive down at that moisture, and then that gives you a little room so your plants are not root bound when you put them into the ground. Now, like I say, these only been in this pot for 2 weeks, and look at all the growth that they've had. I'm gonna do my glove length right there, and then we're just gonna dig down. And you can put these as deep as you want because they'll root wherever. But again, I want to put this there. I'm just going to throw a little bit of bone meal in there. Not even a handful of blood meal. We're going to mix that around and give those roots something to dive towards as that bone and blood meal starts to break down. And then we're just gonna drop that baby in there. Press it in. And that's one down. Do the same thing on the styrofoam cup. And again, I don't have my drainage hose on the bottom. I have all my drainage hose on the side, and it's filled with sand, maybe the bottom inch of this cup. Now you're gonna see what this does, and this is what I do to a lot of my seedlings. You see these white cups with my seedlings up there. Look how good that mix just breaks up. But you see that sand at the bottom? This is a perfect example. And you see how those roots just fall out? Because that sand is gonna hold moisture, and those roots are gonna burrow themselves inside of that sand to get to that moisture. That gives us an advantage once we put them down in the soil because they're not gonna be root bound. Again, we're gonna do our glove length. Sit that here for a second. Dive down. Just a little bit. Not gonna put a lot of blood meal in there. Same thing with our bone meal. And then we're gonna mix it in. Because this is organic, it's gonna take about 3 months in breaking down. This is very fertile soil mixed in with my compost as well as my alfalfa pellets. And these alfalfa pellets have been a game changer in the garden. You'll see a noticeable difference right away when you start putting your seedlings in as that alfalfa pellet starts to get broken down. We'll go on to our next one. And I've never really talked about this before, and I probably should have. It would have given your plants an advantage. And as you knock that sand off, those roots are ready to go spread. That's what you want. And that's going to give your roots a better chance of penetration into your new soil once you put them out into the garden. Just a little bit. And we're going to mix that in. Take this, drop it, press it down. We'll go on to our next one. The same thing. So I don't have to do a lot of the things that I did in my first year of gardening going into my third year of gardening because the soil is better established. The blood meal, the bone meal. I will use a little beard of potash every now and again depending on what it is that I'm growing. But you can see here, worms out here, worms. And I just want to say, I'm gonna keep showing you this because I want you to see the consistency in it all. This is not a by chance. All of this happens the same way every time. Look at this. Look at those roots, how they just hanging off. This plant is ready to go. The more organic matter that's filled in these beds, the less fertilizer you're gonna need. But as I learn to make my own fertilizer, I become a little more self-sufficient in terms of how to grow my food. I'm gonna get better and better at this. That's my goal. So until the next time, keep growing out the box.